Hello, good morning. Welcome to our Pilates session for back release. We're going to be really thinking about de-stressing, stretching, thinking about top to toe relaxation. I feel like that's exactly what we all need right now, where we're thinking about sitting down all day in lockdown and our backs are really stiffening up. So we're hoping to just get a little bit of release through there. Good morning, everybody. All right, so all you're going to need today is yourself and a mat. Don't worry about any equipment and just make sure that you're feeling okay. So if anything starts to niggle or doesn't quite sit right with you, then I just want you to take a breather, take a break, and then join back in when you're ready. So when you're ready, we'll come over onto the mat and we're going to start in a nice high kneel position. So we're up on our knees. You're welcome to put a little cushion underneath if you wish. And we're going to take one foot out in front into the kneeling position. Now we're starting with a few lunges. We want to keep our hips and chest facing forwards, and we're going to drive forwards, feeling a lovely stretch down the front of that back leg. Pressing through the heel on that front foot, we'll come all the way back up to the top, and then we can go again. And if you want to increase that stretch there, where your hip meets your thigh, your hip flexor, before you come into that lunge, you can almost tuck your tailbone under. So imagine you're spilling some water out the back of your trousers and then come forwards. And oh yeah, that really intensifies that stretch. That's lovely. So whilst we're here, let's just take some nice deep breaths. It's really nice if you want to breathe out as you bring yourself through into that lunge, and in as you're coming back up. So we're thinking about using the breath to just help with that relaxation, which I don't often talk about too much in class, but when we're trying to relax or tune in with our bodies, your breath is super important. Okay, we're going to take that just one more time as we are, and then we're going to change this stretch up slightly. So we'll come all the way back up to that start position, but rather than coming back into a lunge, we're going to sit your bottom back, straightening that front leg, and we'll bring hands to the floor to support us. Now, if you can manage to straighten that leg, you can also think about flexing that foot, but it gets quite meaty, and you should feel a stretch down the back of your leg here, your hamstrings really working. Take a breather, and then we'll plant that front foot back down. We're going to come forwards back into our lunge, hold, and then we'll come all the way back. Good stuff. So just moving between those two positions. The reason that I've been asked to do this session with Fit&Well this morning is because it's Scoliosis Awareness Month, and I myself have scoliosis, and my spine, I don't know if you can tell from the way I'm moving, my spine is fixed together with two whacking great metal rods, so I'm not very bendy in my back. And we're just trying to raise a little bit of awareness of the condition. So if any of you watching have got scoliosis, give me a little shout out. But we're doing amazing things this week just to kind of empower people with their scoliosis and think actually how much we can do with our curvy or fixed spines rather than what we can't do. So we'll make this one our last little one. Hopefully they're getting a bit easier as you go. We're going to come all the way back forwards into your lunge. Hands are coming down either side of that front foot, and we'll wiggle your foot across to the opposite hand. We're then going to let that knee come all the way down to the floor, bottom comes down, and we're falling into a stretch for the outside of that front leg. Now you're welcome to stay here with your chest raised, or if it's easier for your lower back, you can just bring that chest down towards the floor. And what I always like to cue here is just to let your food baby relax and come out. So try not to hold any tension in your abdominals whilst we're relaxing here. And you can just breathe, let yourself kind of sink down into the floor. Try and make sure those hips are both facing forwards. It's really common to kind of roll to one side just because you feel quite tight through those legs. So if that's you, grab a cushion, you can pop that underneath your other butt cheek, and that will help you to stay nice and upright. We'll give it a last 10 seconds or so here, and then we're going to repeat that whole section on the opposite leg. So when you're ready, we'll try and gracefully come out of this position. You can plant your hands back down, pull that belly button up to your spine, slide that leg back, and we'll come all the way back up to our high kneel. Pop the opposite leg out in front and we'll go through the motions again. So thinking about spilling some water out the back of your trouser waistband, leaning forwards, coming into that lunge, and then pressing through the heel on the front foot to come back up. The reason I say to press through the heel, if you try and press through the toes, it can sometimes start to pull through the lower back. So I just want you to be making sure we're really switching on those glutes to come back up. Really thinking about where we're feeling this stretch, guys. It's down the front of the back leg, just where your hip meets your thigh. And if it feels particularly good, you're welcome to hold there for as long as you need. Tucking under before coming back down. Chest is tall, hips both facing forwards. And again, if you want to, you can add your breath in here. Breathing out to come down, in to come up. We're going to take that 2 more times on this leg, and then we'll have a think about adding in those hamstring stretches. Well done. Okay, so we're bringing ourselves back to the start position. We're going to plant our hands down on the floor. Sit your bottoms back. See if you can straighten that front leg. If you can, see if you can flex that foot. Hold. Feel that stretch down the back of the leg. And then we'll plant that front foot down, coming all the way forwards and up into our lunge. Hold. And then we'll come all the way back. Sit that bottom back. And again, see if you can straighten the leg. Now, I would rather have your chest towards your leg than your butt back on the floor. So we're really trying to increase that mild tension down at the back of your thigh. Warming up through those hamstrings. And like we said on the other side, it should get easier the more we do, but I know some of you will absolutely hate these, so I'm sorry. But it's really good to stretch out your legs, and where we have tight hamstrings, and a tight piriformis muscle that we'll stretch with our pigeon in a minute, that can contribute to lower back tension, lower back pain. So it's all part of why we're trying to relax through those lower backs today. Let's take this once more in each direction, making sure to hold for as long as feels good. Coming back for that last little hamstring stretch, and then we're going to turn this into our pigeon. So we'll come all the way forwards into that deep lunge, hands either side of the front foot. We're going to wiggle this front foot across to the opposite hand. Let that knee flop out to the side, and we're falling into our pigeon stretch. So like I said on the last side, if you find that you're rolling over, well, then you can pop a block underneath your butt, and that's going to help you to stay nice and upright. Another thing you can have a go at is bringing your chest down towards the floor. So again, if that's just going to help take some pressure off your lower back. Also, it can increase the stretch. We should be feeling it quite deep inside your glutes. Little muscle called your piriformis in there. Breathe, relax, let those abs switch off like we said before. Let that food baby grow and roam freely. So we'll hold for the last 10 seconds here, just really trying to relax. Sink down to the floor. And then when you're ready, we'll try and come out of this as gracefully as we did before. So again, we're planting hands down the ground, lifting that chest, pull your belly button into your spine. We'll slide that front foot all the way back, so we're ending up in a nice all fours position. Now, from here, I want you to bring your knees slightly wider than hip width apart, hands slightly wider than shoulder width. And we're going to transfer your weight over onto one knee and one hand. Opposite hand's coming up to the ceiling. Opposite leg is stretching out to the end of the mat. We're lifting from tips of fingers, stretching from tips of toes. And then we're going to plant that hand back down. Plant that knee back down. Remember that slightly widened position. Straighten that top leg, lift that top arm. Again, stretch from tips of fingers, tips of toes. And then you can come back down. Switching from side to side. An extra thing you can do just to get this stretch really deep into your side there is to take that top arm over your head. Stretch. Oh, that is so nice. And then coming back, we'll try the other side. Good. I'm feeling really wobbly this morning. Goodness. Think about where you're feeling this. So for me, because it's quite early still, I haven't done any exercise yet. I'm really feeling it in my shoulders because I sleep with my hands scrunched up in front of me. If you sleep with your legs all scrunched up, you might be feeling it in there as you're coming into that stretch. Just notice how your body's doing. We're going to take one more to each side. Nice, steady breaths for me. Last one. And once you finish up that last one, we'll bring hands back down. Just going to sit back onto your heels or onto the floor if that's more comfortable. And we're going to take some nice big arm circles. So I want you to take a big sweep with your hands up over your head. Big breath in. Take those arms behind you. And you can breathe out and release. So make sure you've got enough room, you're not hitting any walls. Big breath. Oh, I don't know if you heard that clip through the camera. My goodness, that was satisfying. And it's really nice to take a breath in. Let your ribs expand as you take those arms up. And then breathe out. Let those ribs fall down. Lovely. If you're a bit more bendy through your spine than me, you can almost do like a little back extension as you bring those arms behind. And a little roll forwards as those arms come in front. So just starting to mobilise and move that spine as well. Okay, we'll take that 2 more times. And last one. Hopefully those crunchy shoulders are starting to ease off a little bit. And once you finish that last one, you can shimmy it off and we're going to come down and have a lie down on the floor. So bring yourself down for me and get yourself super comfortable. If you find that your chin's tilting upwards, you can pop a little block behind your head. And we're going to start with knees and feet hip width apart, hands on the floor. And we'll just drop your knees over to one side, back up to the middle, and over to the other side. And we're starting to feel a little stretch in that lower back. If you would like to make this a little bit more meaty, you can bring your knees and your feet together. Try and keep your shoulder blades on the floor, and we'll do the same move. So dropping everything over, should feel really, really lovely through that lower back. Picking those knees all the way back up, and then dropping. Now, similar to the lunges, if we use the wrong muscles to initiate that lift with the knees, we can end up putting more pressure in our lower back than we wish. So, on this next one, I want you to try and lift your knees just with your tummy muscles. See if you can manage a little initiation of the move by pulling that belly button in towards your spine. You should feel a little bit of a lift. Come as far as you can, and then your knees can finish up the rest of that move. So taking it super gentle, making sure to use those abs rather than the lower back muscles to come out of each twist. Okay, we'll take that once more to each side. Hopefully again feeling a little bit easier each time. We're going to take it into a deeper hold after these last ones. Okay, so after you finish off that last one, bring those knees back up to the top for me. We're going to straighten one leg. Other knee staying bent, and the opposite hand is coming to grab that knee. Now we'll take that across the body. Again, keep your shoulder blades on the floor. Opposite hand is stretching behind you and we're going to look towards that hand. So we come into this gorgeous twist through the lower and mid back. Breathe, relax yourself down into the floor. Let your hand guide the knee, but we're not forcing it. And when you're ready, we're going to move and switch sides so we don't end up stuck in that position. So we'll carefully bring that knee back up to the top. Switch your legs over. Opposite hand comes and grabs the knee. That's guiding across your body. Opposite hand's coming behind. And we'll look towards that side. Now try your best again to keep shoulder blades on the floor. We should be feeling that gorgeous stretch through the lower back, maybe into the mid back or even into the hips as well. And we'll just hold and rest. Well done. Okay, when you're ready, let's bring yourself back to that start position. I want you to straighten out both of your legs. Both arms are going to come up over your head and we're going to pull from tips of fingers, tips of toes, biggest stretch, and let go. It always makes me yawn. Big stretch again, tips of fingers, tips of toes, stretch, and let it go. Well done. We're going to roll over onto our side. So you're going to need a cushion or a pillow that you can just rest your head on. I'm using my trusty head blocks. Just something to support your head. And we'll come over with our knees bent up in line with our bottoms, arms out in front of our shoulders, and we're going to take a nice big reach with that top hand, coming up over your head, all the way behind you, stretching from tips of fingers, and then coming all the way back to the start. So it's really important you're keeping those knees and hips facing forwards, and we get that lovely rotation through the back, but we also feel a nice stretch and release through those chest muscles just next to your armpit. So really important that we're looking behind us as that arm comes behind, making sure to twist the whole of the spine and not forgetting those uppermost vertebrae in your neck. If you want to take this up a notch, you can pretend you're drawing a big circle on the floor. So taking a big sweep up over the head, round behind you, and finishing up back over your knees. So have a think if that feels manageable, if that feels okay. It's one of my absolute favourite stretches. It's just so gorgeous, especially if you've been working at a desk all day. Oh. Okay, last two on this side. Big old stretch. And once you've finished up this last one, we're going to roll straight over and do the same on the other arm. So for demonstration's sake, I'm just going to switch ends. And again, make sure that your head is super supported, knees bent up in line with those hips, hands out in front of you. And we can start just by taking that straight arm all the way behind, stretching, and then coming all the way back. Or if you wish, as your shoulder warms up, you can think about that big circle up over your head, round behind you. Oh, finish up over your knees. I'm crunching like anything today, my goodness. So listen to your body, see what feels good. Make sure you're watching that hand, so you're turning your head as the arm comes behind you, doing your best to keep hips and knees still. Like I said earlier, where I've got my spinal fusion, I can't twist all too well. I'm sure I've got some of the spinal fusion community watching in this morning. So just listen to your body here as you go. Again, like I said earlier, let those abs relax. If you haven't eaten anything this morning, there might not be much to relax. But I just want you to think about letting those abs really switch off. Okay, we're going to take this 2 more times on this side. Nice big stretches, reaching from tips of fingers. And last one. Beautiful. circle. Once you finish up that last one, we're going to come over into an all fours position. So we'll push that head support out of the way, rolling over onto all fours. Get yourself up nice and carefully in your own time. And we're going to come to a position where we've got knees under hips, hands under shoulders, and we're just going to come into a lovely mobiliser for the spine. So level one for this, if you're not too bendy, is to drop your chest down towards the floor. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then we're going to pull that chest up, rounding behind the shoulders, and then come back down. Now, if you are bendier through the spine than I am, as you bring that chest to the floor, we're going to drop your pelvis down to the floor too. So we're coming into this lovely dip through the spine. As you come back up and round those shoulders, we're going to tuck your tailbone under, so you should come into a big hump through your back. This is where, again, my metal work doesn't let me move that way, but you'll be much more bendy than I am. So pick a level that feels best for you if you do or don't wish to bring that pelvis into action. Anybody with bendy elbows, make sure they're not popping through. We're keeping elbows nice and supportive, pointing out to the side, so that if I was going to come and push you, you wouldn't fall over. Just the one thing I missed from being able to teach in studio. Okay, so we're going to keep going with these 2 more times to each side. Just breathe in steadily for me. And once you've finished that last one, I want you to come back so your spine's somewhere in the middle of those 2 positions, just nice and neutral where it naturally falls. Now we're staying on all fours. We're going to drop your hips over to one side. We're going to draw your bottom all the way around till it comes to your heels, and then we'll pick the hips up to the other side and finish the circle. So what we're aiming for is a big old circle with your butt, and we're going to switch and alternate directions each rep. As you come back with heels on bottom, you can stretch those hands a little bit further forwards, so you're coming almost like into a child's pose position. And just do, again, whatever feels good in your body. If you want to take it a little bit slower, really enjoy that stretch through your sides, please do. And hopefully this is going to give you a really good head start before the working day, just to get everything moving nice and juicy. Okay, let's do one last one to each side. Once you finish up that last one, we're just going to come back to a nice seated position. Get yourself super comfortable, and we're going to finish with some nice deep breaths. So we're going to take a big shoulder shrug, deep breath in, and let it out. And again, big breath in, big shoulder shrug, and let it go. And last one, big shrug, big breath in, and let it go. You can have a little shimmy, and we're all done. So really, really well done. I hope you enjoyed having a little bit of movement through your legs and your back and your shoulders, and that's set you up really, really nicely for the day. Lovely to see you all up bright and early, and hopefully I will see you all soon. If you want any more from us, we are over at Build Breathe. We've got lots of Pilates there for delicate backs, so hopefully I will see you there soon. See you all later, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.